Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about how to reach your financial goals. Specifically, I want to start from a very simple space. I want to walk you through how we can better understand our finances, because if we don't have a clear image, a clear number of what our financial situation is, what it looks like, what we want it to be, then it's going to be a little bit harder to reach our financial goals. So in order to understand our finances, we need to get a better grasp, a better idea of where our money is going. So this is going to require us to be observers of our spending habits so we can better see where our money is going. Understanding our finances also requires us to think about where we would like our money to go, how we would like to utilize, spend, invest our money so that we can reach our financial goals. So this video is going to be very simple. My objective is to help you get a very clear idea of what your expenses and your income looks like. What I will be doing is that I will be walking you through a spreadsheet that I created. It is a very simple spreadsheet that includes different categories of life where your money is going. So the categories that I will be going into are divided into expenses and income. So the expenses categories include your overhead, any debt that you have, travel, leisure, and investments. And under the income categories, I have income, which includes different ways in which you make money. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the spreadsheet just so you can see how simple it is. So don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to walk you through this. I'm going to share this spreadsheet as well, so you can make a copy of it if you want to go ahead and carry out this exercise. But I promise you that after doing this, you are going to have such a clear image, a clear exact number as to how much is going in and how much is going out. So once you click on the link that I will provide, all you would do is click file and then make a copy, and then you can rename it to whatever you want the title to be, and then you can go ahead and make a copy and it will be saved onto your Google Drive. So then you can go ahead and make your own edits. Okay, so here is the spreadsheet. I included the year up here, and I also added that all of these values are in US dollars. And up here, I have in red all of the expenses. So this is just an outflow of money, like this is where your money is going. And then if you scroll over to the other side, you will see a green category, which is your income. So as I mentioned earlier, for your expenses, there are different categories. So let me walk you through these categories again. It is your overhead, it is your debt, it is your travel, your leisure, your investments, and for income, of course, I just added income, and then we'll go into the different ways in which you can bring money into your household. So then under each category, so let's walk through overhead first. I have 3 subcategories: the item, the amount, and any notes that you want to add, because I definitely like to add notes. And I'll show you some examples of that. Here I added different items that include most individuals' overhead. So the things that you absolutely have to pay for on a monthly basis for most adults. And I included example amounts, example dollar values for every category, just for demonstration purposes. Let's start off with your rent or mortgage. You would just go ahead and write in how much you pay. Then I included just very common bills such as your electricity, your gas bill, your internet bill, renters or home insurance, your car insurance, your phone. Maybe you have phone insurance, so you would add like a different category. Groceries, your gas. So over here, it's gas for energy, like your energy bill. And then down here is gas for your car. And then if you pay for any gym memberships, and you can go ahead and add other categories. So for example, maybe you have donations that you pay every month, or any miscellaneous items. If you have children, then you would include any daycare or expenses that you must make every month for your child or your pet. Any credit card payments that you make automatically that you have on auto pay, maybe it's the minimum balance every month. I also have a different section for your credit card over here, but I just wanted you to see different examples of other expenses that you can have under your overhead. So again, overhead is things that you absolutely have to pay. Like for example, bills have to be paid, rent has to be paid, your phone bill has to be paid, you have to eat, so groceries must be paid. So anything that is recurring and is monthly, you would go ahead and add it into the amount category, and you can always add more rows to the spreadsheet so that you can continue adding any expenses that you have per month. Okay, so after you include all of the expenses here, I have an automatic formula that adds up all of these values, and you can just click on the cell and it'll show you the formula up here. So I just added all of these numbers, and remember, I added up here that these are monthly expenses. So this is what your overhead is on a monthly basis. And if you wanted to see what that looks like annually, then what I did down here is that I just multiplied this value of $2,485 times 12, because there's 12 months in a year. And that means that annually, just to cover your overhead, it would be about $30,000. So that's what these two sum categories are down here. So now moving on to your debt column. I know that people repay back their debt in different ways. So you can either, if you have a monthly payment that you make for your different debt, you can go ahead and add it to your overhead. But I just wanted to create a different category just so you can start seeing all of your debt and have like a value for that, just so you can have it like in your mind, you know? So for example, one form of debt is your credit card debt. So let's say that this year you want to pay $1,000, and I made a note here, like for example, maybe your total amount of credit card debt is $5,000, but this year you only want to pay $1,000. So I made that note here to pay this year, but your actual total is much more than that. And then that will probably grow with interest, right? So again, this is just a way for you to track what you want to pay back for this particular year. And then maybe you have student loans. So maybe out of all of your student loans, you want to pay back $5,000. So again, I made that note here to pay this year. Your actual total is $55,000. So here you can kind of list it however it works for you. For me, because I wanted a sum down here that's an annual sum, that's why I did it per year. Like this year I want to pay 1,000 credit card, this year I want to pay 5,000 of student loans, and then that's the total is $6,000 of what you would expect to pay this year for your debt. So you can just go ahead and start thinking about how much you want to pay this year based on what your finances look like, or just based on your financial goals overall. Okay, so now let's go to travel. So for travel, I just did a little bit of research of different places that I would like to visit and what the average cost is. So for example, here I put Hawaii, and including tickets and hotels and food and any other activities, I did a little bit of research, and it would be about $2,000. This can vary depending on what activities you want to do. It could be more, it could be less, but I just did very light research and came up with this number, as well as for Italy, like the tickets to Italy, as well as any other excursions or hotels or anything like that. I put another $2,000, for example. In my specific case, I love to camp. It's cheaper. It's a great way to travel in California, which is where I live, because there's a lot of really awesome camping sites. So let's say if I wanted to do one camping trip, including the paying for the site, the gas, the supplies, whatever, it's going to be $300 for this year. So what I would encourage you to do here is really think about your travel goals for the year. Think about where you would like to visit, do a little bit of research, maybe based on your own experience of traveling to these places, or maybe reading up blogs or just doing Google searches to try to get an idea of what the number looks like to travel to that particular place that you want to travel to. So these are like very ballpark numbers. For me, it could be more, it could be less, but I just wanted to have an example for this category. And then down here, you would take the sum $4,300. Moving on to the next category of life that many of us spend money on is leisure. So I just want to go ahead and give you a couple of examples that I came up with. Some of the things that I buy on a monthly basis are beauty products, for example. This could be skincare, this could be products for my hair, like makeup, or just just anything that I tend to buy on a monthly basis. So here I have that, let's say I spend $50 a month on anything that encompasses my image, like beauty products. Then that would be 50 times 12, which is 600. And then any outings. So I love to go out to eat. I think that's where most of my money goes. So here I just started thinking, okay, with inflation and everything, let's say that I do 2 outings each month and each outing is $200. Then that means that would be 400 times 12, which is $4,800. Again, this number could vary for you. Like I just overshot this number because I know that I love to go out and get boba, get coffee. So not that it's the best habit, but I try to like overshoot for this one just so you get an idea. Okay, so then I have a category for courses or training. So if you like to invest in your own education, if you like to take courses and learn new things, and let's say that each course, each class that you pay for, it's $1,000 each. You invest in 4 courses that are worth $1,000. So that would be $4,000 per year. And let's say for fitness that I included your gym membership over here. But for this fitness, I was thinking more in terms of like if you were to pay for a class that's additional to your gym membership, or if you take dancing lessons, or anything that includes you moving your body, you investing in that element of your life that isn't included in your gym membership that you pay monthly, then I included that here just for the sake of showing an example of another thing that you can maybe spend money on. So let's say, for example, in this category, it is about $100 per month, and then there are 12 months, so that would be $1,200 per year. So finally, clothes. If you're someone that loves to spend money on clothes, accessories, things like that, that could go here. So let's say you spend about $150 a month on clothes. This would involve you kind of looking at your spending habits. And then you can see down here, the sum of all of these categories was $12,400. Now let's go to the investments category. So I have a couple of different items here. So your Roth IRA, so retirement, this could be a traditional or Roth, real estate, and emergency fund. So these are just different things that, yeah, you're putting money into it, but it's an investment. Like the goal is that it's going to compound, it's going to grow, and at one point it's going to pay you back, right? But because it's still something that's taking away from your monthly paycheck, for example, I put it as an expense just so you account for that being removed from your salary or from your income. Okay, so then the sum of these categories is down here. So if you have any other investments, feel free to include them here. Okay, so let's move on to income. So income is any inflow of money, any way that you make money. So that could be through your job. So maybe you are paid salary and you have an exact amount of how much you make, you would put it in here. If you aren't paid salary and your income can fluctuate through your job, maybe through overtime, things like that, you can just have an overall, like a ballpark number of what you expect this to look like. So now for the investments category, you can further break this down. Like maybe you invest in the stock market and you get paid out like dividends or whatever it's called. Like you get paid out a monthly amount, more or less. You can go ahead and put that in here. Maybe you can create another category for real estate. Let's say maybe you own properties and you receive rents every month. If that's like a consistent amount, or you could take an average and just add that amount that you anticipate to receive through real estate, for example. And if you invest in anything else that is giving you money, so maybe you have a side hustle, and maybe that's another thing that you don't necessarily know how much you will be bringing in for each year. But right here, it's just an estimate of what you anticipate to be bringing in through any investment or any other supplemental activities that you do to receive more income. So after that, I went ahead and took down here the sum of all of these amounts on an annual basis. And then in order for you to see how much that would be on a monthly basis, I just divided it by 12. Okay, so those are the categories. Again, this is going to look different for different individuals depending on what your life looks like, what you invest into, what you spend on. But I just wanted for you to have like a general blueprint, very simple for you to crunch in some numbers. Now let's scroll down, and down here for expenses total, what I did in this box here is I just added all of the annual amounts. So for each category. So for your overhead, for your debt, for your travel, everything under the red bar is an expense. So your expenses total annually is 71,000 in this example. And if I were to divide that by 12, I would get the value that reflects monthly how much you are spending. So if this was your lifestyle here, then you would be expecting to spend almost $6,000 per month. So now let's move on to the income category. Here it's just reflecting your income that we just talked about. That includes your job, your paychecks, and any other additional income. And monthly, this is what that value looks like. So now in this category down here, just wanted to see what your income minus expenses looks like. So you can see if your income is going to be enough to cover all of these expenses or if it's not going to be enough. So after doing that calculation of your income, which is 72,000 minus your expenses, which is 71,000 about, you would have left over for $180 annually. And if you want to see what monthly that looks like, that means every month you have $40 to spare after you invest in all of these expenses, right? Like after you make all of these expenses. So basically, it's just giving you an idea of how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. Something important for you to know is that these expenses do include you having invested, right? So after making your investments, you still have some money left over. So the reason I think it's very important to carry out this exercise is you are just able to see where your money is going and anticipate where your money might go. So for example, something very powerful about this as well is that you can control certain categories. So let's say after carrying out this exercise, you realize, that's a lot of expenses. Like, I think I want to cut it back this year. And then maybe this year you'll make a couple of sacrifices. Like maybe you won't make that trip to Hawaii, or maybe I can eliminate my Italy trip, or maybe I'll just eliminate this whole travel category altogether. And then you can start like deleting numbers and start playing around. Like, okay, if you were to eliminate your travel category, then your expenses would obviously lower by that amount. So likewise for your leisure category, you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't eat out as much, or I can spend less money on beauty products, or maybe I don't need that additional fitness class because I already go to the gym, I'm already paying for the gym, or maybe I shouldn't be buying clothes every month. So you can start eliminating specific categories. So let's say you decide to eliminate your clothes expense, eliminate your fitness expense and your beauty products. And maybe you say, I only want to go out and I only want to invest in courses because I want to keep nurturing my education. So then now you have a new sum for that category. So this allows you to play with numbers and see how your expenses will change based on you subtracting or adding different expenses. So for your investments, right, like you can also play around with this. Maybe you think, okay, I don't want to save $10,000 for real estate. Maybe I'll just leverage other people's money. I can eliminate 10 grand and, find a way to get creative financing or not have to use my own money. And like with your income, right? Like maybe for work, you're salary based and you can't go above that $60,000. But maybe for your investments, you can play around with, okay, if I bring in another property, if I invest in real estate and I can cash flow $1,000, like how can that change my annual revenue, my annual income? So again, because it's formula based, it really allows you to play with numbers, plug and chug, and see how that changes your expenses and your income. I really hope that you will carry out this exercise. Again, I will go ahead and share the link to this spreadsheet down below so you can go ahead and make a copy and make your own edits to it. If you want to set any financial goals at all for this year, then you really have to start with looking at where your money is going right now and how you anticipate your money to be spent and invested. I really want to cover a little bit more of my financial journey this year, and I think this was a great starting point. Is just, okay, let's do the things we have to do before we set the goals, which is to look at where we're at, identify how we're doing, where our money's going, where we anticipate it to go, so that then we can make goals accordingly to our current financial standing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and like the video. And if you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I cover just so many different things that really will help us improve our life on a day-to-day basis. I also made an Instagram, so go ahead and follow me on there. I am more active on that platform, so maybe we can just get to know each other more over there. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.